Hello everyone, welcome back to HS Academy. Today we are going to learn how to use enough and to in sentences. Alright. Let's start today's lesson. Let's look at the example sentence for the first structure, enough. Here's the example sentence. I'm 18 years old now. I am old enough to drive. So what does old enough mean in this sentence? The words in red color indicate that the person is the necessary age to drive. It means the person is the age needed to drive. Now let's move on to the meaning of to. Here's the example sentence. Alex, you need to slow down. You are driving too fast. So what do the words too fast mean? The words in red color indicate that Alex is driving faster than is needed or necessary. He needs to slow down. So enough and to are related because they talk about a quantity of something. In the first example sentence, the quantity was about age. How many years someone has lived. So if I say, I'm old enough to go out on my own, this means I have the necessary years in my life to go out alone. I'm 18, 19, 20. I'm old enough. To also talks about a quantity or an amount of something. So in the example sentence we saw, the person was driving too fast. The speed that he was driving was more than necessary or was needed. He should slow down. You see. So it's usually talking about quantity of something. Enough means it's good, it's sufficient. To usually means more than sufficient, more than enough. Let's look at the structure for these two words. The structure for enough is like this: we use an adjective or an adverb plus enough. Let's look at the example. I think I am strong enough to lift this on my own. So that's an adjective plus enough. There is a second structure that we can use for enough, and it is enough plus noun. So I can say, I have enough money to buy the car I like. You can see, enough plus the noun, money. It means I have a sufficient amount of money to buy the car I like. Now let's move to the structure for to. To is usually used with an adjective. So, to plus an adjective. The example is, this car is too old. Let's buy another one. So, the car is older than is necessary. It's older than I like, so, I don't want it, I want a newer car. I hope the meaning and the structure is clear for you now. Let's look at the things we need to note when using enough and to. Let's look at the first thing. I'd like you to compare enough and to, just so that the meaning is even clearer for you. First of all, let's see enough with example. This bed is big enough. What does it mean? It means it is a good size for me. That's what I'm trying to say. This bed is big enough, it's a good size for me, it's perfect. Let's use the negative form now. This bed is not big enough. What does this mean? I'm trying to say it needs to be bigger. It's not sufficient for me because I'm big. The bed is small, it's not big enough. Now let's use to, with example. This bed is too big. What does it mean? This means it needs to be smaller, it's too big for me. It's more than is necessary. So it needs to be smaller. That's a comparison of enough and to just so that you can understand them better. Let's move on to the second thing that we should note. We can use enough without a noun. If we mention the noun before, or if we know what the person is talking about. So one of the structures, remember, is enough plus noun. But if we know what the noun is, we can leave it out. Look at the example of Jane and Paul talking to each other. Jane says, "I'm going to buy some more food for the guests." Paul replies, "No, we have enough." Here he's just used enough because he's just trying to say, we have enough food. Jane mentioned food, so Paul doesn't have to repeat it. You can mention food if you like. Paul could say, "No, we have enough food." But it's not necessary. Let's look at the third thing we should note for these two structures. We can use much and many with two. Much is for uncountable nouns and many for countable nouns. Look at the examples. I ate too much ice cream today. I feel really sick now. Here I've used much to mean the quantity was a lot. An ice cream is an uncountable noun, we cannot count it, so we should use much. The second example is, there were too many people at the beach today. We couldn't sit down anywhere. So here I've used many because people is a countable noun. We can say, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. That means it's countable. So use many. Let's move to the next thing that we have to note. Very often we use for somebody or for something, which is a noun, with enough and to. So look at this example using enough. Our school doesn't have enough space for the children. So for is talking about who the problem affects. It affects the children. Second example, we're using to. That t-shirt is too big for you. Who does the problem affect? It affects you. That t-shirt is too big for you. So when using for it can be omitted, it's not necessary, but it makes the meaning much clearer. If I say, our school doesn't have enough space, this means the problem is affecting everyone. But if I want to focus who the problem affects, if I'm thinking about the children, the students, I can say, our school doesn't have enough space for the children. So I'm thinking about the children. It's affecting them more than anyone else. Similarly, if I say, that t-shirt is too big, we probably know who it's affecting. If I'm talking to my friend face to face and he's wearing a t-shirt, I say, that t-shirt's too big, the meaning is clear. But if I say, the t-shirt is too big for you, the meaning is even clearer. It means for your body, for your shape the t-shirt is too big, get a smaller one. Let's look at the last thing that we have to note. Very often we use to do something, a verb, with enough and to. Look at this first example. The weather isn't warm enough to have a picnic today. You're giving the reason why you said the weather isn't warm enough. It isn't warm enough to have a picnic today. Look at the second example. She is too young to drink coffee. If I just say, she is too young, the person won't know what I'm talking about. Too young for what? Too young to do what? So I say, she's too young to drink coffee. So I hope those things to note have made everything much clearer and developed your understanding of enough and to. Alright, now it's time to see examples sentences. The cake I baked isn't sweet enough. It needs more sugar. Sorry, there aren't enough chairs for everyone to sit down. Sorry, I'm too busy to talk now. Can you call me back later? Do we have enough time to visit my parents on the way home? This curry is too spicy for me to eat. My mouth is on fire. The pizza is too salty for me. This file is too large to put onto my USB drive. I'll have to find another way. There are too many cars and too much pollution in this city. I'm thinking about moving to another place. I'm really sorry, but I'm too sick to go to work today. Nowadays, phones are small enough to carry around with us, but they weren't always so small. In the 1980s, they were too big to carry easily. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give us a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel for more videos.